It is often said that temptation begins softly, almost imperceptibly. It doesn't pound on the door or shout at you. It creeps in quietly, gradually, until you sense its breath on your neck in the solitude of your own company. That is precisely what it did to me. And so it was that I found myself at my boss's bedroom door just shy of midnight, clad only in a delicate silk robe and a heart brimming with desire. I am Amber. At 25 years old, I find myself single and happily employed as a live-in nanny for a lovely family in Miami. Vanessa, the mother, exudes sweetness and kindness, perhaps to an excessive degree. She regarded me as if I were her younger sister. Mr. Blake, her husband, was a whole different story. Lofty, strong, defined shoulders, hair that blends shades of gray and black. His deep voice sent shivers down my spine, leaving my legs trembling each time he uttered my name. Mr. Blake possessed a charm that went beyond mere good looks. He possessed immense power. The type of man who entered a room and diminished the presence of everyone else. And the way he gazed at me occasionally, lingering just a heartbeat too long, a touch too low, made it clear I wasn't the only one sensing something perilous. The journey began on the evening Vanessa departed for her week-long business trip. Silence enveloped the house, a chill settling in the air. I was meant to feel a sense of duty, yet all I experienced was a surge within me, something fierce and untamed. Sleep eluded me that night. I shifted restlessly, clad in that delicate robe I had always hesitated to don. My room lay just across the hall from his, and with each passing minute my heart raced ever more fervently. Was it wild? Most likely. Yet I found myself indifferent to it all. I required his presence. Quietly, I made my way down the hallway. The dwelling lay shrouded in darkness, enveloped in an eerie stillness. The silence was punctuated only by the gentle hum of the fridge downstairs. I found myself standing before his door. My fingers quivered. My breath was taken away. My nipples pressed against the silk, the fabric gliding over them as I raised my hand. And I rapped on the door. Only a single time, gently. I found myself wishing he might remain oblivious. Yet he did. The door groaned as it swung ajar, revealing him in the threshold. Without a shirt. Heavy-lidded. Truly stunning. Amber, he murmured, his voice deep and gravelly. Is everything all right? I took a deep breath. My cheeks flushed with warmth. My thighs were pressed together. I found myself unable to drift into slumber. I murmured softly, "May I enter?" He paused briefly, uncertainty flickering in his eyes. His gaze fell to my robe, my exposed legs, the silhouette of my hip. His jaw tightened, yet he moved aside. I stepped inside. The air was infused with his essence, a blend of wood, spice, and an indefinable masculinity that lingered in the atmosphere. He shut the door after me. "What's the matter?" he inquired. I pivoted to confront him. My heart raced. "I'm not quite sure how to express this," I murmured gently. "Yet you had occupied my thoughts for weeks." His gaze deepened with shadows. He advanced toward me with deliberate slowness. "Amber, you understand that this isn't right." "I understand," I murmured. "Yet it holds no significance for me." He was mere inches away now. The warmth radiated from his form. His chest rose and fell in a measured rhythm. His gaze lingered on my lips before trailing downwards. "Are you interested in this?" he inquired, his voice scarcely above a murmur. "Indeed." He pressed his lips against mine. With a firm hand, not at a leisurely pace, it was absolutely blazing. Intense, primal desire flowed from his lips to mine. His hands clasped my waist, drawing me closer, and I inhaled sharply as I sensed his desire pressing against me through the fabric of his shorts. I sighed softly against his lips, my fingers pressing into his back as he effortlessly lifted me and carried me to the bed. The robe parted as I reclined, and his gaze explored every detail of my form. He pressed his lips against my neck, my chest, and further down, his mouth igniting a blaze as his hands roamed over every inch of me I had longed for him to caress. My thoughts had faded away. I had no concerns about Vanessa, nor did I ponder what was right or wrong. All I understood was that I was finally savoring what I had longed for. He offered it to me throughout the entire night. Repeatedly, he stirred emotions within me that were entirely new and unfamiliar. The way he caressed me, the way his breath danced against my ear, the way he embraced me afterward, it transcended a mere evening. It was a door that swung wide, a threshold neither of us could ever shut again. I found myself in his bed, ensnared in the sheets, his arms securely holding me close. It was the night when everything started. It was just the beginning. We were unable to halt our progress. We extend our heartfelt gratitude to all our incredible subscribers of A True Infidelity Stories. Your presence inspires us to share these profound, heartfelt, and passionate tales. If you're visiting us for the first time, be sure to subscribe and become part of our expanding community. There is an abundance of insights and stories waiting to be unveiled for you. As I stirred awake, I found my head resting gently on his chest, feeling the tender rhythm of his breath beneath me. The sheets twisted and knotted around our legs. The robe lay discarded on the floor, and he still kept his arm around me as if he was reluctant to release me. For a fleeting instant, I shut my eyes and imagined I belonged to him, as if I was meant to be there, nestled in his embrace, resting in his space, woven into his existence. Yet, the truth seeped in like a cold breeze. This was the spouse of Vanessa, my superior. A man I was never meant to lay a finger on, much less savor in the way I did last night. Yet, I found no reason to regret it, not at all. His hand glided gently up my back. "Are you all right?" he inquired with that rich, languid tone that sent a thrill through my stomach. I gazed up at him, my lip caught between my teeth. Superior to satisfactory. He offered a warm smile. Oh, that smile! It caused my heart to flutter. "I didn't expect that," he said, gently tucking a strand of hair behind my ear. "Your presence caught me off guard." I turned over, positioning myself softly on him, the fabric slipping down to my hips. I leaned in and kissed him again, this time with a gentler touch, savoring the lips that had undone me the night before. "I'm not finished with you," I murmured, my fingers gliding down his chest. He let out a soft groan, his eyes deepening once more. "You possess a certain perilous charm." "No," I murmured softly as I descended the bed, planting kisses on his stomach, then trailing lower. "I belong to you." He propped himself up a bit, yet I gently urged him back down, accompanied by a warm smile. He understood my intentions, yet he chose not to intervene. I sought to bring him joy. I wished for him to carry my memory with him, lingering in his thoughts whenever he shut his eyes. I gradually took him in, savoring the moment with a playful touch. His fingers wove through my hair as I shifted, my tongue and lips dancing in harmony, my hands cradling him with a gentle yet firm touch. He let out a low moan, an intense, unfiltered resonance that revealed all I sought to understand. "Amber." He inhaled sharply. "Oh, the way you make me feel is simply incredible." I kept going. I offered him all of me, gradually, profoundly, with a richness that enveloped us both. I desired for him to surrender to his impulses, and he certainly did. His body became rigid. He emitted a deep groan, his fingers clutching the sheets tightly. I took it all in, my gaze fixed on him, and as I returned to his side, he drew me near and murmured words that will forever linger in my memory. "No one, absolutely no one has ever made me feel that way." I blinked. "Not even your spouse?" He took his time before responding. He turned his gaze towards me, a blend of seriousness and vulnerability etched across his face. "Vanessa and I have drifted apart for quite some time now. She is occupied, perpetually fatigued. Our kisses have become so infrequent." I bit my lip. I had no desire to feel pity for him. I had hoped to remain untouched by emotions, yet the moment had slipped away from me. "She's fortunate," I murmured. "No," he said, gently gliding his thumb over my lips. "I consider myself fortunate." We lingered in bed for hours, conversing, embracing with lips, moving, rekindling our passion repeatedly as if we were attempting to compensate for all the solitary nights we had endured together. Yet, the morning light gradually seeped through the curtains, and with it arrived the burden of guilt. I quietly slipped out of his bed and made my way back to my room, just in time to avoid the kids waking up. I stood before the mirror, gazing at my reflection, my plump lips, the crimson imprints on my neck, the radiance in my cheeks. I appeared as though I were an entirely different woman. A woman who had ventured beyond a point of no return. And the wildest aspect? I felt the urge to traverse it once more. On that day, we made an effort to maintain a sense of normalcy. Morning meal, taking the kids to school, tidying up the home. Yet the glances we exchanged were ablaze with intensity. In the kitchen, he brushed past me and whispered, "You're all I've been thinking about." In the laundry room, he pressed his lips to mine against the door, a secret moment when no one was watching. As the evening unfolded, we found it impossible to resist the urge to touch one another. I returned to his room before dinner, and he drew me onto his lap as if it were my rightful place. During that week, in Vanessa's absence, we found ourselves irresistibly drawn to one another. We accomplished it in the shower, seated on the couch in the living room, within the confines of his office, late one night, beneath the stars, by the pool. It was more than mere physical intimacy. It was fervor, desire, Craving. Each kiss delved further. Each touch grows increasingly urgent. We danced on the edge of danger, fully aware of the risks we were taking. Yet we were unable to halt. We had no desire to cease. Once more, I found myself wrapped in his embrace that night. His powerful hands held my waist firmly as he entered me gradually, profoundly, as if he were attempting to imprint the sensation of me in his memory. Our bodies intertwined in a seamless dance, slick with sweat and entwined in the sheets. Each moan that slipped from my lips was consumed by his mouth. Every gasp met with a thrust that made me lose all sense of my surroundings. It had evolved beyond mere desire. It had an air of peril. It felt as though I was destined to be in his bed, as if my place had always been here rather than merely as the nanny. "Amber," he murmured, his voice heavy with longing, "you are truly testing my patience." I grinned in the shadows, continuing to move at a leisurely pace, clinging to the electric tension that surged between us like an impending tempest. "Good," I murmured softly into his ear. "I desire to bring about your downfall." Indeed, I did. Evening after evening, we acted without caution, driven by urgency and utterly consumed by our cravings. However, the reality of engaging with flames? It has a knack for leaving a mark on you. It transpired on a Thursday. In the kitchen, wearing a loose tank top with nothing beneath, I hummed softly to myself while preparing the kids' lunchboxes. He pressed his lips to mine by the fridge, his breath warm as he murmured his desire for me in his office after the kids were gone. I smiled, my body already yearning for him.